Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, let's talk about the man himself. Let's talk about Floyd Money Mayweather. He's always a good topic of discussion. And that man right there, Mike Tyson, he had some things to say about Floyd Money Mayweather in regards to his ambitions and his aspirations as a trainer. So let's get to that. Let's dissect here on True School Sports piece by piece, brick by brick. Let's just get into it. Here's what Mike Tyson had to say in regards to Floyd Mayweather's trainer aspirations. He said, I quote, mostly the guy that's the great trainer is not the great fighter, and that's why he becomes the great trainer. I give Floyd a good chance because Floyd is a gym rat. That's all he does. You see him in the club for 1 week, but he's in the gym every day for 25 years. Even when he goes out and parties, he's back in the gym the next day. He does it in his sleep. This is what he do. His lifestyle is predictable to a long duration athletic range. There you have it. Iron Mike himself, the youngest undisputed heavyweight champion in the history of heavyweight boxing, chiming in on Floyd Mayweather and his training aspirations. Now listen, I'll be honest with you guys. I've heard Mike Tyson talk about Floyd Mayweather a number of times, and I really like listening to Mike Tyson talk. I really enjoy. I've been enjoying his hot boxing podcast because ever since this coronavirus started, I've had a chance to go back and watch a lot of content that maybe I missed when I'm busy making my own content. So I've had a chance to really dig into his hot boxing podcast, and he's got some really great stuff on there. I watched the one with Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz and Evander Holyfield and guys like that. It's great. It's truly great stuff. So if you haven't seen the Mike Tyson hot boxing podcast, go over there and check that out because it really is great stuff. But in terms of this quote and what he said about Floyd, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is probably the nicest thing I've ever heard Mike Tyson say about Floyd Mayweather. I kid you not. It's the nice thing I've ever heard say about him because, he obviously a couple of years ago, he had that infamous quote where he said that Floyd can't even take his children to school. And he said that greatness isn't hiding from the people. It's being with the people and being embraced by the people. And that quote has people always post that in boxing groups. You see it on Facebook like once every week and a half or so. People always want to repost that to hate on Floyd. Floyd haters like to use that to hate on Floyd. But I concur with Mike Tyson. This is a conversation that I've had with a lot of people in the boxing world, people whose opinions I respect, and I've gotten mixed opinions on this, on whether Floyd will be a great boxing trainer or not. If I talk to 10 people, 5 people will say, well, Floyd isn't going to be a great boxing trainer because he's got too many people pulling at him. That he's too there's too much attention on Floyd, and there's too much pulling at him, and the lifestyle is going to keep him away from the gym. To be a trainer is a thankless job, and that's something that people don't understand. Being a trainer is a very thankless job, and I've gotten a chance to truly understand this on a very deep level over the last couple of years because obviously in South Florida we have a lot of great trainers that are on these boxing gyms here. We have Stacey McKinley, who's one of my best friends in boxing. We have Stacey McKinley, Derek Santos, Jorge Rubio, Luis El Chiro Perez, a.k.a. the Evil Genius. So many great boxing trainers here in South Florida. And just seeing what these guys go through with their fighters, dealing with the fighters' personalities, dealing with their own personal problems, dealing with their stable of fighters, and just things like that. It takes a special type of person to manage fighters' personalities, his own ego, and kind of mold young fighters into becoming world champions. And it's a thankless job at times because when the fighter's winning, the fighter's getting the credit, and when the fighter's losing, the finger's being pointed at you. So even the great trainers, they don't get the praise, and they don't get the accolades and whatnot. And I guess for the people that doubt Floyd's ability to be a great trainer, it has little to do with his ability to teach or articulate the sport, but more so to do with his lifestyle, the amount of people that are pulling at him constantly, and can Floyd Mayweather check his ego at the door and be second so his fighters can be first? A lot of people I talk to in the boxing world will say, well, we've seen how Floyd has handled promoting a guy like Gervonta Davis, where he, even with promoting Davis, he still wants to be first. But I'm gonna say this, life has a way of humbling everybody. I don't care if you're somebody I don't care if you're as broke as a homeless guy off the street, or if you're somebody as rich as Floyd Mayweather. Life has a way of humbling everybody, and the death of loved ones in rapid succession can humble you. A loss of money can humble you. A number of things can humble you in life. And I think Floyd Mayweather has reached a great point in his life where, okay, unfortunately, he's lost some great people in his life, like a Roger Mayweather, like the mother of his children. He's gone through his things with his daughter. But he has now gained the joy of knowing that, hey, you can take the knowledge you have as a fighter and you could impart it into young aspiring fighters, the younger generation. And he said Floyd said that he's working with fighters who have never boxed before, who are just getting into the sport, beginners. So he wants to build these fighters from the ground up. So you see him holding the pads. You see him teaching fighters how to pivot and throw punches from a certain angle, and he looks like a natural born trainer. And I don't doubt that Floyd Mayweather has it in to be a great trainer. I don't doubt that one day, 5, 10, 15 years from now, we could be sitting here talking about Floyd Mayweather's the trainer of the year, because I don't think he's gonna be like, R.I.P. to him. I don't think he'll be like, Pernell Whitaker, because Pernell Whitaker was a fighter that was a hell of a fighter in his day, but he couldn't train fighters for nothing. No disrespect to him, he couldn't really train. He wasn't a great trainer because he tried to teach fighters to fight the way he fought, and he didn't really. From what I gathered from talking to Calvin Brock, I did an interview with Calvin, the boxing maker Brock, who worked under Pernell Whitaker, and he said that Pernell tried to make his fighters fight like him, and it's like you can't tell a heavyweight to fight like Pernell Whitaker. That's just not how it works. You gotta teach the fighters the fundamentals, and you gotta build from there. And I think Floyd Mayweather will be one of those trainers that will teach. He'll be a teacher. Boxing's in need of teachers. Because there's a lot of trainers, there's a lot of patty cake hand mitt holders in boxing, but there's so little trainers. There's so little teachers, guys that teach you the sweet science of footwork, punching, feinting. How to fight on the inside, how to punch on the move, how to punch off the pivot, how to block shots, how to catch and shoot, how to sharpshoot. These are a lot of things that a lot of trainers don't talk about. They get tell you to throw 1-2, and you can see that a lot of times in boxing these days when you look at and you listen to the instructions of many trainers. It's always generic instructions like fight harder, you got a family, you're a shark in the ocean. I'm parroting Virgil on what he said. But they're not really clear-cut, crystal instructions. A great trainer is going to give you clear-cut, crystal clear instructions. Not too many instructions because you only have a minute to give instructions. But I feel like Floyd, he had a great teacher in Roger, and it's his chance to take what he learned from Roger and pass it down to the next generation. And that is worth more than any Bugatti you can buy. That is worth more than any sort of mansion you can purchase. And I think Floyd understands that, and that's why I think he's going to become a very passionate person about training and a focused Floyd Mayweather, as we saw in the ring as a dangerous Floyd Mayweather. And I think he's going to want to become a hell of a trainer in the sport of boxing. So that's the news. Mike Tyson gives his take on Floyd Mayweather becoming a boxing trainer. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What kind of trainer do you think Floyd Mayweather will be, and do you think he can become a world-class boxing trainer? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.